A very, very wonderful happy birthday, Joel. I wish I was there, but this is the next best thing. This is where Joel was born, York Avenue. So we have this one. I don't know. It looks like he's got a telephone or something, Nate. What is this for? But he's so cute. And they want stories about this and everything. I don't know what stories we can tell them. But this is one. This is another. I don't know if I like this one so much, but I'm showing him to you. That's in his crib. That's also York Avenue. This is even earlier. This is 1953, 7/24/53. This one is probably around the same, but this is a toy that he got. I don't know if I gave him to that, or maybe that was one they sent him. But he did have a rocking horse. We had a nice couch. That was a nice apartment. That's what Grandpa had. What was the best thing he ever did for you to be born? Because with the first child, it was our introduction. He was born. His father couldn't be there because his father was collecting Daphne, which is for fish, out on the island. So I didn't expect him to be there. And we couldn't take him home right away because a ceiling fell down in our apartment. So I stayed with the doctor that delivered him at his house, a very lovely man, a good friend of ours, and we had a good time.
Once there was a fire in the public garbage can on the corner of our street, Lexington Avenue. Joel organized us as a band of Rough Rider troopers as we brought pots of water downstairs from our apartment to the garbage can to extinguish the fire. We marched and we sang, "We are the troopers, Rough Rider troopers, nothing stops us, mud or snow, sleet or hail, or anything that gets in our way." What is the quality you most adore, you most admire? He was a very good, kind, dedicated, loving person. They did have fights.
Who fought?
Judy hit him in the mouth with the phone when I wasn't home one time.
Who won?
Well, she knocked his tooth out, I think, or something. Or, she was a little. Well, she sent it her part. But I do it all over again and have them all of them.
As a junior in high school, Yoel's class took part in a citywide writing competition sponsored by a local newspaper on the topic of brotherhood. Yoel's essay was brilliant. It began by asking Noah Webster of Merriam-Webster Dictionary for the definition of the word. He was a genius. It was so well written. His essay was awarded second place. I remember attending the award ceremony. The student who wrote the winning essay read his essay. It was a good essay, standard issue. I noted that they did not have Yoel read his essay. I am sure that everyone would have found it far superior.
That when he was young and he was in the carriage, at one point I left him parked right in front of our building at 1558 York, and I went across the street to the neighborhood delicatessen, and Buster was there too. And I looked out, and I really got scared because Buster had his paws on the carriage like this. And you often hear stories about, the dogs doing things to the kids. So I quickly rushed back to the carriage, and everybody started to say, "Don't be yelling at the dog." The kid was going up and down like this, even though he was strapped in, and the dog thought, something doesn't look right, and he put these massive paws on the carriage to keep it steady. He always slept in their room. Joel and Judy they were both in the same room. Noah said that Joel used to pick on him. I think Joel called himself, what it was? Destroyer or something. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. chorus, come on.
Happy birthday, dear Joel. Happy birthday to you.
Finito. He had a truck that a friend of Neil's gave him, and it was a truck that opened from the back, and he liked to put his blocks in there, and Judy would come over and destroy his stuff for him. But they were pals. They did a lot together because Beth was the next one.
As young children, Joel and I were a team. We were complementary players in a variety of activities and escapades. He was the creative genius who wrote his own cartoon strips. He invented imaginary games.
A good Tom and Holcomb, loving his kids, taking care of them, leading the life that he wanted to lead. We weren't strict enough for him, so he wanted to go further.
While fixing fences one day with his friend Claude, Jonah was inadvertently hit in the head by a rock. Rock throwing was not an essential part of fence repair. There was a lot of blood, of course. Joel took responsibility for the injury, though I recall suspecting that it had been Claude who had thrown that particular rock, and Joel was protecting him.
There were lots of kids, and it was his fault that we had all those kids.
Why was it his fault?
Because when he was born, that was fine. We had a boy, that was exactly what we wanted, and then we had the girls, one right after another, 4 in a row. So then Joel chimes in and says, Mom, Dad, you must do something. I can't play with these girls. I have to have some brothers. Can you do? I said, I don't know. Well, we were successful. We got 2 more boys, so that was number 7 kids. And I said, you have the 2 brothers? We have 7 children. That's the end. And that is the end. Happy birthday.
Over the years, Yoel and I have not maintained close communication. However, our intense early childhood bond and my respect and admiration for his intellectual brilliance as a Talmid Chacham, as well as his kind and gentle neshama, are ever present in my life. Happy birthday, Yoel, Ad Me'ah Ve'esrim. With love always, Judy.
The parents came with an ambulance, and all my neighbors were wondering who was sick and who had to go to the hospital. And they parked. This was the Vort, or no, this was when we met the parents the first time. So that stood out in my memory. And the wedding itself, Yoel decided to go to the mikveh before the wedding, and he had his father drop him off, and then he didn't have a ride to get to the wedding. So we were waiting, and I thought, oh no, don't tell me he's going to stand Esther Perel up. And I was really worried, but somehow he got a ride, and he got there a few minutes later than we expected him. But he did arrive.
What is the funniest thing you remember Yoel doing?
Well, he was dating Esther Perel, and he came in from Stamford, Connecticut, where he was learning, and he borrowed a friend's car, and he was sleeping over at the friend's house. but the friend by mistake locked the door and he didn't have the key. So he couldn't get in. It was like 2:00 in the morning. So he slept in the car. And years later, that story went around to all the yeshivas. And years later, when my daughter Chaya was dating, they asked us, one of the guys she dated asked us if we had ever heard about the yeshiva guy who slept in the car after his day. And we said, yes, that's our son-in-law.
What is the quality you most admire about Yoel?
Yoel is a wonderful person. He's very sincere, and he's willing to give you the shirt off his back, literally. And when my father-in-law, Olav Shalom, was very sick, Yoel went to the hospital, and he didn't leave him, even though he always davens with a minyan. He davened at his bedside, and he davens not soft. He has a loud voice, and it carried through the hospital. But he didn't care. He was going to daven, and, he took care of him. He used to cut his fingernails and toenails, and he did so many things for so many people. And he always is very, very kind to Masha, and he's just a wonderful guy.
Thank you.
What would you like to wish him for his 62nd birthday?
That he should live till 120 in good health and see many generations.
Amen.
Amen.
Loved Yoel. Zayd used to say, Yoel is a yuchid b'mina. There isn't nobody else like Yoel. We're almost getting engaged, so we went to this fancy restaurant, La Difference. But I think I would like Sam's Deli with the hot dogs better. Abba always brings me home stuff from every simcha he goes to. He loves going to simchas, and he always takes a cup or a napkin and he brings me home a cake or some pastry or something. He always has to bring me home something from there, something yummy. I admired his Mesiras Nefesh for Torah that he still has till this day. Sits and learns, falls asleep over the Gemara, same thing. And also, he had a lot of Mesiras Nefesh to teach Torah to people. A lot of people that he would give all his time and not care that he didn't sleep or he didn't whatever, and he would teach people, and they really were very grateful to him in different yeshivas where he was. Your husband is a tzaddik she'ein kamo. You don't know what he did in Adelphia, how he used to learn with us, and how he gave us, and how he was the best, and he didn't care, he gave us, and he, so in Adelphia he was the tzaddik. In Scranton, they thought he was the funny guy who won all the loony contests, like who could eat more hot dogs in 1 minute, and who could steal the regions from the office. And all kinds of fun stuff.
And then Ramazi used to dip the girls' pigtails in the ink.
Willie always used to say, how's your husband? He's a chosh of a guy. He's a chosh of a guy. That's what he used to say. So we wish Abba that he should have good health and he should be able to walk. He should be able to learn Torah and teach Torah and enjoy it like he always does, and not be in pain, and have nachas from all the children and grandchildren and Amir Tashem great-grandchildren, and be able to dance at the weddings and do good things, as Eddie would say.
תגיד לי מה יותר מתוק מדף גמרא, מסברה Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joel. Happy birthday to you. Happy 62nd birthday.
Happy birthday, Abba. We love you. שיהיה עד 120 בבריאות.
Hey y'all, I wanted to wish you a year full of bracha, simcha, tzlacha, nachas from all your kids and grandchildren, and thank you for being my uncle, and you're one of the only people who call me by both my names, Miriam Chadva, and thank you for doing that, and thanks for always being there and answering my questions if I ever have any, and should have a good year. Mazel tov.
Happy birthday, y'all, on your 50th birthday, plus 10, plus 2. Really wish I could be there with you.
First, no, it's all right. Don't make believe it's you taking it. They know it's us.
Okay. Wait,
No,
I think
don't
it's
stop.
starting.
I mean, this pre-thing should also be part of it.
Okay.
Are you on yet?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay, Mrs. Greenwald, since you always talk first.
At last, Mazel Tov, our best wishes for a long and happy life together as the Carol and the beautiful family. Yishtad Yiddish and Nachas and Yizut, Shavayas, Parnasa.
Yeah, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. How old are you? I don't believe it. No way.
62. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Yoel. On behalf of me and Benjamin, who couldn't, you invited us in to come and stay with you. You told me that you had all these empty bedrooms, your family was in America, and your giving and gracious nature has never stopped for one moment. I so appreciate you and your whole family, and we wouldn't be who we are or where we are without you guys. I love your frugality. We're partners in crime and never wasting anything, never wanted to throw anything out. Always finding a use for something. Anyway, I really appreciate you. You're a wonderful neighbor. I feel like we're part of each other's family. And thank you and happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Yoel. We wish you many, many years of good health and happiness. And when I think of Yoel, what do I think? I think of a very firm handshake, self-effacing smile, and unbelievable humility. And I probably never thanked you for being the camp counselor so many years ago when Ari went during the Intifada. He had a great time with you and the boys, and I appreciate you calling me every night to let me know what was going on. And all good wishes, y'all. Have a happy, happy birthday. Bye-bye.
I think my first memory of you was, of course, the dating process. And, you know, Esther Pearl going out and talking about it and coming home and me trying to listen and nobody wanting me to hear and, you know, picking up all these little pieces of dirt, you know, through overheard conversations. I mean, I certainly saw him because we would, of course, watch out the window and sneak into the room and etc. So, you know, definitely had some views before. I wanted to talk about the memories of, you know, when I was still pretty much a child, maybe, I don't know, 11 or so, and, you know, Masha was not talking yet, and I remember you sitting with her for many, many hours, you know, trying to get her to mouth words, to say words, and just thinking like, wow, that's a lot of patience. Like, I don't know that I could do that. And she really did talk. Like, I think you did get her first word out of her. Unfortunately, I don't remember what it was, but I do remember, like, after all that work, you actually got her to say something, which was pretty amazing to all of us.
Now start. I want to wish you a happy birthday. I wish you a lot of not for all the family. And whatever.
You know, had no problem with being there for people. So if I was stuck somewhere, even though whatever you were doing, you would just stop and come and get me, or calling you, looking up the number of your kollel and calling you up and saying, you know, hey, I need a ride, you know, can you come and get me? And of course you came and get me, like it was no problem. Remember that we used to call you like the Statue of Liberty, you know, give me you're tired, you're poor. And, you know, you just always had all these kind of lost and lonely souls that you cared for. And I guess, you know, what kind of runs through all this is just a sense of like, I'm here to kind of take care of people who need caring for. And even like at a Shabbos meal, if somebody was kind of like downtrodden or not quite with it, you know, you would try and like find something wonderful about them and lift them up. And, you know, it was very inspiring, and I noticed it, and I will remember it. And
Happy birthday, Yoel. We love you. Wish you a lot of atzlacha.
Happy birthday, Yoel.
Happy birthday, Ad 120, Benachas, Brius HaNefesh, Brius HaGuf. Atzlacha, nachas from everybody. And keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, because we're counting on you.
In good health. Ad 120 Shana with nachas from
Teava, I'd never swim, and thank you I love you. Thank you for teaching me Mishnayos. We should continue. Thank you for your time.
Happy birthday, Yoel. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Grandpa. Happy birthday to you. שתעלה לבית המקדש, שתעשה את הנבואות שלך, לדבר עם השם. והיום יום הולדת לסבא, חג לא שמח וזר לא פורח.
I guess I want to wish that, you know, at this time in your life, that you should have a lot of good health, you know, that you should feel good, and, you know, whatever ails and pains you, we should find ways to heal, and that, you know, you should be able to enjoy all the children and all your wonderful children who really, you know, really be able to be proud of them and be present and with them, and, you know, and kind of enjoy this time of life, you know, and have a lot of bracha of all kinds, so that you can. All right, I think I'm done with my Skype program here.